10 detective riddles only the most attentive 1% can solve by Brightside. I'm not sure what I'm looking forward to, but let's see. I'll try my best.
10 detective riddles only the most attentive 1% can solve.
Definitely not
It
me,
has been
but
scientifically proven that you must solve 10 detective riddles every day to develop and
I'm
exercise
way
your
too
brain.
late.
You don't believe it? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Perhaps we have made this fact up.
Okay.
But you can't deny that entertaining your mind solving cases along with Sherlock Holmes and other famous
sir.
detectives is anything but boring. So, if you are ready to check how attentive you are, this video is what you need. Watch a riddle, have 15 seconds to try to crack it, and move to the next one. Remember
Yes,
to give
sir.
us a like for letting you feel like a real professional in solving crimes. Good luck!
Fine, let's go.
Number 10. A detective and the blacksmith brothers. On a snowy winter night, the detective was resting in front of the fireplace. Suddenly,
Okay.
somebody threw a snowball at his window. The hit was so strong that the glass shattered.
How?
The detective stood up and had just enough time to notice 3 kids who lived in the neighborhood running away. They were brothers with the names Sam Blacksmith, Peter Blacksmith, and Mark Blacksmith. The next
And
day,
Peter Mark.
a paper note was left on the detective's door. There it was written, "Blacksmith." He threw the snowball. The detective knew immediately which brother to question.
Question
Okay,
mark.
now you have 15 seconds. Hopefully enough time to figure it out.
So a question mark blacksmith, and the question mark is gonna tell you who it's gonna be. Am I right? So let me check their name again. Give me a second. Sam, Peter, and Mark. So yeah, I think that's it. I think it's Mark. It's either Mark or we're supposed to ask Mark what's up.
The symbol question mark is
Question
called
mark,
the
yep.
question mark. So here we go. Question Mark Blacksmith. He threw the snowball.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9.
Okay, 1 out
Hotel
of 10.
room.
I got one score. I'm giving
A
myself
woman
that
was
one.
staying in her hotel room when somebody knocked at the door. When
Right.
she opened it, she saw an unknown man. He looked surprised and said, "I apologize. I thought it was my room." He turned away and went in the direction of the elevators. The woman, however, returned to the room and dialed security. Why was she so suspicious? Have you
The guy
already
didn't have the
figured it out?
keys.
Time is ticking.
If it was his room, why did he not have the keys? That's my guess. Come on, give me the answer. Tell me I'm right.
The woman logically decided that if the man had thought that the room was his,
Wait a second. Women and logic in the same sentence? Okay,
he
man.
wouldn't have knocked. Such
I'll take your word
behavior is
for it.
typical for those criminals who break into hotel rooms and steal whatever they can. They knock on the door to make sure there's nobody inside. Number 8. Suicide
I'm just kidding.
or murder.
I'm just kidding.
A detective comes to a crime scene. A man is said to jump out of a window of an abandoned building and commit suicide. The detective goes inside the building to the first floor, to the room at the front. He lights a cigarette, goes up to the window which faces the
By the
dead.
way, calling something a first floor is convincing. Oh, it is confusing. In some places, they call the ground floor first floor. In some places, they call above ground floor first floor. In some places, they call the top floor first floor. It's always a confusing thing. In this scenario, I think the top floor is called the first floor. He lights up the cigarette, goes up to the window, faces the person.
Opens it and throws the cigarette out. Then he goes to the second floor and does the same. He continues until he has visited all the floors and repeated the action again and again. Then he returns to his team and says that it was by no means a suicide, but a murder. How did he find it out? It took the detective much longer than 15 seconds to understand the truth. What about you? Are you smarter?
I am not. I think I have heard this one before. I just don't remember it. I have heard this one before. The window was closed, maybe? Question mark. Okay, you tell me. I can't think of anything.
When a person commits suicide jumping from a high floor, they don't tend to close the window behind them. But in this case, none of the windows which faced the dead man were left open. It
Okay,
means
my
that there
guess
was
was
somebody
right.
who closed them after the man died.
Yeah, I didn't remember it. It
Number
was
7.
just a lucky
Iced
guess.
tea. Two young ladies were having dinner together. They
Right.
both ordered iced tea. One of them was very thirsty and drank very fast. She had 5 glasses
I've heard
during
this
the
one
time
before,
the other
and I
drank
remember
only
it.
1. Tragically, the girl who was nursing her drink and drinking slowly died. The other stayed alive.
The poison was in
Turned
the
out
ice.
all
I've
the
heard
drinks
this one
they had been
before.
served contained poison. How is it possible that the girl who drank more survived? A strange case. Are you ready with the answer?
I wasn't ready the first time I heard it. I think I may have been. I, I would have been able to solve it now, but yeah, I know the answer.
In fact, the poison was contained in the ice. The ice in the tea of the girl who drank fast didn't have time to melt, but the ice cubes in the other girl's drink melted, releasing the poison into her tea. Number 6. Mysterious death in the car.
Ooh.
A man was found shot to death in his car. The
Oh, no.
policemen were puzzled as there was no gunpowder on his clothes
Okay, I don't know this one, but I'm assuming the trick of this thing would be the car. The car is not damaged.
or anywhere else in the car. This meant that the person who shot him was outside, but all the windows were closed, all the doors locked, and the only bullet hole was on the man's body. How was it possible? Perhaps some mystic powers? Here's your 15 seconds.
You do that, whatever you did, then you put the guy inside. That's it. Step 1, step 2.
The answer is actually quite simple. The car where the man had been killed was a convertible. When the fatal shot sounded, the roof was down. Number 5.
Okay.
Fly in coffee.
So
A woman
one
was
wrong,
having breakfast
2
at
wrong
a nice
actually.
restaurant. At one moment, she noticed a fly in her coffee. She was
Right.
indignant and made the waiter bring her another cup of the drink. After he returned with a new cup of coffee, she shouted, "What is the service in this place? You have brought me the same cup of coffee."
She put something in the coffee herself to check. She put sugar in her coffee. The guy put in the same coffee back. Yeah, if he had brought her a new coffee, it wouldn't have sugar in there. There you go.
How did she understand it? Perhaps the woman was a psychic? What do you think?
Come on. Tell me I'm right. But wouldn't she have to like drink it to check if there's
She had
sugar?
already put sugar in her previous
Yeah.
cup of coffee. When she tried the new one, it was sweet.
Yep.
Number
There you
4.
go.
In
I was
court
correct.
for killing the wife. A man is accused of killing his wife. His lawyer, in his final statement, declares that the wife of the man, in fact, hasn't been killed and will enter the courtroom in a minute. Everybody in the room, including the judge and the jury, turns and looks at the door, and the lawyer with the defendant looks at them. Several minutes
see.
pass and the lawyer says, "It proves that you are not so sure that my client has killed his wife. Otherwise, you wouldn't believe me." Almost immediately after that, the jury comes up with a guilty verdict. Why does it happen? 15 seconds to find the answer.
Okay, I do not see. Waiting for it. The lack of evidence. I mean, there's clearly lack of evidence, right? You can be a smart ass, but the person is not showing up. I'll put that one as my guess.
The man who had been accused wasn't looking at the door. He was sure his wife wouldn't enter, as he had killed
Ah,
her.
I mean, I would
Number
look at the
3.
door.
A case
Come
of a
on.
smuggler. A man carrying
The
2
guy is just
bags with
stupid.
sand crosses the Mexican border on a bicycle every day. Customs officers regularly check the bags, and all the time, they contain sand. It is obvious that the man smuggles something, but the officers can't realize what it is exactly. As they don't have any proof, the man crosses the border without interruptions. What does he
Is it something inside him? Obviously not. That would be too funny for a puzzle. Bags of sand, right? Let me
smuggle?
finish.
Your time has started.
Yeah. So what does he have? He has a bicycle. He has a hat, which is not a part of a question. This bag of sand. Is he smuggling the bag themselves? It's so overt is covert. If you're going by that logic in this one, right? Is can't be a special kind of sand. Why would you smuggle a bicycle itself? Mm, It's the same guy every time, so there's no way we're selling organs. Tell me, I can't think of anything.
This creative individual distracts the custom officer's attention with the bags of sand.
Okay.
But in fact, he smuggles bicycles.
Bro, who is smuggling bicycles? When he said distract the officers, I thought like he distracts someone. Then there's a different guy like behind them. He just sneaks in, you know? Like there are 2 people going in. That's what I thought. Brother, who is smuggling bicycles?
Number 2. Suicide message. A body of a man was found in the flat. At some moment, he collapsed against his desk,
He's left-handed.
a gun in his hand. The
Oh, sorry,
police
he's
found a
right-handed.
cassette recorder nearby. When they pressed the play button, what they heard was, "I can't live like this anymore." Then the sound of a gunshot was heard. However, the detective immediately figured out that it was a murder. How did he realize that it wasn't a suicide? Surely, you already know the answer.
Yep.
If not, you still have some time.
It's 100% right-handed thingy because recorder is on the right. I hate this. Can I say this? Can I say this? I hate it when detective shows left hand, right hand thingy. In almost all of them, it goes like, oh, who could be the murderer? Then Sherlock Holmes is gonna walk in, he's left-handed. And then the research goes like, who in the city is left-handed? That they find one guy in the entire city who's left-handed and then put him behind bar. Every detective show has at least one episode like this. I hate it.
If the man had killed himself, he by no means would have been able to rewind the tape. Conclusion: there was someone else. Number 1. Crime scene.
I mean, look, simply by that thing, I don't think there's enough evidence for me to solve it per se. Because the cops could have rewinded the thing. We just know that the tape had that thing in there, right? Cops can rewind it when they are checking the disc or whatever, the tape
A
question
man killed
thing.
his wife in their car.
Yeah.
He used a knife which he later threw away into an abyss where nobody was going to find it. His wife's body he took out of the car. He was very careful and left no fingerprints. After that, he headed home. In a couple of hours, he got a
Say, does fingerprints actually help? I feel like cops, like an average cop, does an average cop has access to fingerprint machines? I don't think they do. I think that's just a movie thing. Fingerprints is either the FBI or movies. I don't think regular cops can check for pink fingerprint.
call from the police. They informed him that his wife had been killed and he had to arrive at the crime scene right away. As soon as he got there,
They
however, he
arrested
was
him.
suspected for the murder. How did the police realize it had been him who was guilty? And 15 seconds for you. Take your time.
Can I rewind?
And suspected to arrive, he and left no fingerprints.
Right.
After that, he headed home. In a couple of hours, he got a call from the police. They informed him that his wife had been killed and he had to arrive at the crime scene right away. As soon as he got there, however, he was suspected for the murder. How did the police realize it had been him who was guilty? And 15 seconds for
He was a little too ready to show up. He picked the call the first try. His clothes were not sleeping clothes. That's my best guess.
you. Take your time.
He also showed up in time, something like that. He was prepared. And it's also like his wife is not at home. His wife is not at home. And he has not filed a missing complaint. Something like that.
The husband wasn't informed of the definite location of the crime scene.
Okay.
Despite that, he came to the right place. We hope you had a good time while solving these
Lack of information for me, buddy. Come on. You didn't give me enough information. Come on.
riddles. Which one was the hardest nut to crack? Tell us in the comments and share this video with your friends. You can compare the
I think the cycle one probably. Who smuggles cycle? Come on.